Good evening, everyone. Can everybody hear me? You hear me? Okay. I'm Paul Sevilla, Adult Services Librarian at the Livermore Public Library, and I'm delighted to welcome you to tonight's program, Soaring to Greater Heights Since 1908, with Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Eta Rho Omega Chapter. A special thank you to Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and especially to the Eta Rho Omega chapter for making this program possible. Your dedication to service, scholarship, and sisterhood continues to make a lasting impact in our communities. Thank you as well to everyone in attendance. We're excited to have you join us for this insightful discussion. If you have any questions or comments during the program, please feel free to type them in the chat. I'll be monitoring the chat and will ensure we have time for questions later on. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce our host for tonight's event. Tina Jones Williams is an award-winning author, storyteller, folklorist, and retired HR executive. She is a proud and active 22-year member of Eta Rho Omega Chapter, the San Jose chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Over the years, Tina has taken on numerous leadership roles, and she currently serves as a chairperson of several committees, including Eta Rho Omega Strategic Planning. Her passion for preserving history and uplifting others make her the perfect guide for tonight's discussion. Please join me in welcoming Tina Jones Williams.
Thank you, Paul, for that kind introduction. It is really a pleasure to be here this evening, and I'd like to thank the Livermore Library as well for hosting us. I'd like to thank our esteemed panelists who were kind enough to answer the call when I asked them to join this evening. And of course, I'd like to thank those of you who are taking time out of your evening to Zoom in and join us. So with that, I'd like to start by introducing the panelists, and I'd like to begin with Maya Mosley. Maya is an award-winning brand strategist, marketer, and people leader. This past December, she celebrated 15 years of membership in her beloved Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Throughout her time in the organization, she has had the privilege of serving in various leadership roles, including her position as the 41st president of the Delta Zeta Omega chapter in San Francisco, California. Currently, she serves as the Northern California Cluster Coordinator to the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated Far Western Region, acting as a liaison, resource, and advocate for 23 dynamic chapters that are dedicated to serving the communities of Northern California. Maya, it's a pleasure. I've never met you in person. I've only met you over one other Zoom call, but I want to thank you for joining us this evening.
Of course, my pleasure. Happy to be here.
Next, I'd like to introduce our chapter president, Melissa Hawkins. She is an operations manager for Black Hawk Network and a proud 29-year member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Eta Rho Omega chapter. Having served in various positions throughout the years, positions such as first and second vice president, treasurer, financial secretary, and graduate advisor, she is now serving as the president of the San Jose chapter and the Ivy Rose Community Foundation. As president, she is a de facto member of every functioning committee in our chapter. Last and certainly not least is Dion Morgan, a global director of marketing at Hewlett Packard Enterprise. She has been a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated for nearly 38 years. joining the Zeta Psi chapter as a freshman at San Jose State University. She has held several leadership roles as an undergraduate and is an alum of Alpha Kappa Alpha's prestigious Leadership Fellows Program. She has been a member of the Eta Rho Omega chapter in San Jose for 16 years and has held various leadership roles during her tenure, including first vice president and chair of signature events. She is currently the graduate advisor for Zeta Psi chapter of San Jose State University, going full circle. So with that, I'd like to start our program, and I'd like to have Maya, who has such a breadth of sorority knowledge that she's gained through her regional experiences and her chapter experiences, to please paint a picture taking us back to the beginning, the founding of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority.
Nina, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here this evening with you and my other lovely sorority sisters. As you mentioned, we haven't met in person, but that is one thing about the bonds of Alpha Kappa Alpha. They are strong and they go deep. Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated was founded on January 15th, 1908 at Howard University. It is the nation's first African-American sorority for college-educated women. It was founded by 9 dynamic women at a time when Black people in America were experiencing discrimination, segregation, and other civil rights injustices. And their call to action was to come together in community and have a vision and a clear mission to not only improve the lives of women and girls through service, sisterhood, and scholarship, but also to provide service to all mankind.
Maya, could you tell us a little bit about the numbers of sorority sisters that exist globally, as well as some of the impact that those sisters have on the communities in which they serve?
Absolutely. We are an intergenerational membership. So we have over 365,000 members, both graduate and undergraduate, on the level. We have over 1,000 chapters in all 50 states and 11 different countries. Countries such as Liberia, Germany, South Korea, Japan, Nigeria. We truly are an international body and an international organization. Through the power of our organization and our sisterhood, we really focus on providing targeted support to our different communities that we serve locally and globally. And under the dynamic leadership of our President and CEO, Danette Anthony Reed, we have 6 specific initiatives that we focus on as an organization and individual chapters. Those initiatives focus on strengthening our sisterhood, empowering our families and that family unit, building our economic wealth, enhancing our environment, advocating for social justice, and then uplifting our local community. Throughout our 117-year history, sorority sisters have had the opportunity to come together and bring together really powerful initiatives. For example, in 1934, there was the Mississippi Health Project. It was our answer and our response to the Great Depression, and especially how Black communities were affected during the Great Depression. That is one of the initiatives that we are best known for. We also focus on other initiatives such as Black maternal health and childhood hunger. In terms of scholarship and service, we've raised over $2.6 million in support of historically Black colleges. So through our strength in numbers in terms of our sisterhood and our targeted focus on specific initiatives that we know impact our communities and specifically our Black and Brown communities, we are able to really, really provide boots on the ground and impact where our communities need it most, and really address, issues that systemic issues.
Thank you, Maya. I know that um, given your love of the sorority as well as your knowledge of the sorority, you could go on, and we will come back to you. But Melissa, I'd like for you to, if you could, just bring it a little bit more locally in terms of Eta Rho Omega chapter in San Jose. Could you talk a little bit about its founding, its
Yes.
chartering, and sort of the impact that it has within the community?
So Eta Rho Omega was chartered on December 2nd, 1961, and it came together with the help of our charter member, Gloria Hughes. She sent a letter to 18 other members that lived in the San Jose area. They had a call to action, and on December 2nd, Eta Rho Omega was born. And so with those 19 women set with a passion, they came together, and one of the biggest initiatives they did at the time, in collaboration with the NAACP, was they worked to ensure that Black people in San Jose could purchase a home wherever they wanted to. That was one of the biggest things that they did at the time. Other programs that our chapter has worked on in the 70s and 80s, we used to, I don't even know if they do this anymore. As I was doing my research, I was trying to figure out. But we used to do the California high school exam preparation
Oh,
for
right.
right? And we used to do SAT preps before the schools were doing it for the children themselves. That's something that Eta Rho Omega started. And then the other thing that I found as I researched what we've done in this valley is, and the San Jose, the MLK Library has the African American Heritage Collection. Well, that collection was originally started with books donated by the Women of Eta Rho Omega chapter. And so when you look at what were the needs at that time, what are the impacts that we could make, those are some of the things that we've done in this community.
Sir, Melissa, could you please share with me some of the signature programs that Eta Rho Omega is known for now?
Yeah. So um, our signature fundraiser is our debutante ball. I was a participant in that many, many years ago. But our signature community programs are Pink Goes Red, our baccalaureate, and let me go back. So our Pink Goes Red program we've been doing for the last 16 years. We call it Pink Goes Red, but now it's Women Transforming Health. It's one of the initiatives under Danette Anthony Reed, are empowering our families. And one of the great things about Eta Rho Omega is we're really good at taking programs that corporate wants us to do and making them our own. And so we went from Pink Goes Red, which was initially a heart initiative, and turned it into something bigger where we cover mental health, and we still talk about the heart, and we encompass the entire family. The other program that is a signature program for us is our baccalaureate. Our baccalaureate started 36 years ago, I believe. Don't quote me, don't hold me to that. But the baccalaureate program started as a way, we were always giving scholarships, but we wanted to create a platform that we could do that. And our baccalaureate does that. And the beauty of our baccalaureate is it's a platform that not only celebrates the kids, but allows us and other organizations to collaborate and give their scholarships to children, to the teens as well, to high school graduating seniors. Those are our two key signature programs at this time. But when I go back and I think about things that we used to do, we had an Ivy Teens program. We actually, I learned, had our own images program. that started, which was for younger children. And we know that the Images program is now something that's done by one of our sister organizations. But those are some of the things that Eta Rho Omega has done in the past and what we're still doing today.
You know, you mentioned two things, well, many things, but if I had to pick, I would probably say the baccalaureate is my favorite program that we do because it gives us the opportunity to speak with pride each student's name with enthusiasm for their future. And it doesn't matter if they're at the top of their class or barely graduating, it matters. And it's just really an uplifting program. And then when you say images, okay, so Deborah Chappelle, who I did not know, this was probably, it had to be 33 years ago because my son was in it. He was one of the Temptations. And my daughter, he was maybe 7, she was 3, and she was in the Yakety Yak Don't Talk Back song dance from Images. So when you say that, that really takes me way, way back with the impact to the community. I was not in the sorority at that time, but it was an outreach program that the sorority did and included children and families to just bond and bring the community together. So, personal story. So, Dion,
Yes.
I would like for you to talk. You're in a unique position, not unique to our sorority, but to this panel. You started in college, and you have been in the sorority for how many years does it say?
Almost 38.
That's unbelievable. I'm certainly looking at you, it's unbelievable. But here's the thing. So you have come full circle in terms of starting at San Jose State at Zeta Psi, and now you are the graduate advisor to the sorority members there at San Jose State. So if you could talk a little bit about the current membership, the current hurdles and challenges that they face, really, as students,
Sure.
and the community impact and some of their signature events as well.
Yeah. Would be happy to. So San Jose State Zeta Psi chapter was actually chartered on February 26, 1972 at SJSU, so on the campus of San Jose State University. And if you think back to the 1970s, in 1968, there were 2 track stars, John Carlos and Tommy Smith, who actually demonstrated Black power, Black excellence at the Mexico City Summer Olympics. They were San Jose State University students. 4 years after their demonstration at the Olympics, Zeta Psi chapter was born. So it was a point in time when there was really a need for support as well as a demonstration of Black excellence, not only on campus, but in the greater San Jose community. It was also the time when Silicon Valley was beginning to grow up. So there was a need to show that there are Black people in Silicon Valley demonstrating Black excellence. So there were 14 young ladies who chartered Zeta Psi chapter, and to this day, they are continuing to demonstrate that Black excellence. There are 12 members on campus right now, so 12 young ladies in Zeta Psi chapter. And if we think about it, we are going through some tumultuous times right now. And some of the challenges that the charter members were facing in the 1970s, our current members are having to face that as well to continue to demonstrate and show that Black excellence. One of the things that they're very proud of, I'm very proud of for Zeta Psi chapter is the fact that the chapter has consistently had some of the highest grade point average of all Greek organizations on campus. So academic excellence is one of the standards that we set for members of Alpha Kappa Alpha. I'm also very proud that we have a former regional director, our 25th regional director for the Far Western region of the sorority, also began her Alpha Kappa Alpha journey in Zeta Psi chapter. And I just want to acknowledge her because I saw her name here in the audience. So Mrs. Carol R. Dixon, one of our beloved former regional directors, started her journey at San Jose State. And the young ladies who are there now, our young sorority sisters, they are following the same programming that Maya was describing before. So all of the programming that our corporate headquarters sets forth, all of the chapters in the sorority support that. So they are supporting those same programs on campus and in the community. For me, it was also a journey of personal development. So you mentioned Leadership Fellows. That's a program that still exists today for our undergraduates. And it really is a leadership program, and it prepares you to go out into the world after graduation and not only lead in the sorority, but also lead in your professional life as well. So it's a great experience, and it is really a pipeline to lifelong membership in the sorority. One thing that's unique about Alpha Kappa Alpha and some of our other what we call Divine Nine organizations is that there is lifetime active participation. So it does not stop when you graduate. And I'm a testament of that. So I'm a member of our graduate chapter, and I continue to give back to the sorority and give back to the community.
Thank you, Dia. I just want to amplify that because in our chapter alone, we have members who are as young as in their 20s, just barely out of college. And we have women that are into their 80s who are active, contributing members of our sorority. And I can remember when Melissa told me when I joined the chapter, as your time, I won't say what she said, but as your time, as you grow and your talents grow,
Mhm.
you are expected to give more of your time, talents, and resources to Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. And it is true.
Yeah.
And it is all.
Oh,
I think,
okay.
but it is true.
I was gonna, it is true.
It's very true. Um,
Time, talent, and treasure is usually what we say.
yes, yes. Always a labor of love, right? When we work together, and if there's never a task that we can't get done when we come together collectively. It's always a beautiful thing. Oh, I see Tina's back. You back?
Oh, I didn't realize that I thought you guys were frozen and I was still going. So anyway, I just wanted to say that it's absolutely an expectation that we stay active and involved forever. And we do. So every good story includes a why. So I would like to start with Maya and ask you, Maya, why did you become a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority?
Mm. The two words that come up for me are sisterhood and excellence. When I was an undergraduate on campus, I was able to see the other women of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated on campus and how they held themselves and how they carried themselves, and even more so importantly, how involved they were in their campus community and advocated for others and also their local community. And I knew it was something that I needed to be a part of. Again, just the way they showed up, the way I saw them grow, each year in the initiatives that they were doing. And so really to be a part of that sisterhood with purpose was what really drew me. And I will say that sisterhood and excellence continue to keep me and continue to foster my love each day for Alpha Kappa Alpha.
Thank you. Melissa, what's your why?
My why is one, it was really all I knew. I really had no choice. And truly, when I think about, even though I didn't join as an undergrad, they were the most prominent on the campus that I was. So I went to an HBCU, historically Black college, and sort of what Maya says, when you see how the ladies show up, it makes you proud. I watched my aunt. Even though I spent summers there, there were always pink and green bags. And you all know we have a lot of bags. We have a lot of bags, a lot of papers. We these days we're limiting our papers, which is great, right? We're saving our earth. But back in the day, there were a lot of bags, a lot of papers. And so watching my aunt and recognizing opportunities to serve, and then really I knew Alpha Kappa Alpha existed, but what I didn't realize that it was something that was international. I thought it was a Southern thing until I was asked to participate in the debutante ball. So one of the charter members of Eta Rho Omega was my high school counselor. And so when I saw how I mean, everybody loved Miss Hooper, Miss Wilma Hooper. Everybody at Yerba Buena High School loved her in the way she carried herself, the way she took care of us and nurtured us. She was counselor to all, but she was mother to us. And so that's when I recognized, oh, this is something that's outside of the South because my first boule was in Atlanta. And so I look I was at the hotel, but to see the ladies in pink and green, that was a Southern thing in my mind until Miss Hooper asked me to participate in the deb ball. And then I recognized, oh, they're here too. And so again, coming in as a graduate, looking for opportunities to serve, um, connection, sisterhood is the reason why I became an AKA.
Thank you, Melissa. Dion, what about you? What's your why?
So my first introduction to Alpha Kappa Alpha was through my aunt. So she joined the sorority in the 1970s in the state of Arkansas. And so very beautiful, very poised, very smart, very hardworking. So she was a role model. And then when I went to San Jose State, I looked at the different organizations that were there on campus, and I was very, very impressed with the ladies of Zeta Psi chapter. And I just felt that I felt a connection with them and that was the organization that I wanted to be a part of. And so I joined my freshman year.
Thank you. I think my why sort of encompasses what all of you have said, but specifically for me, I joined when I was 50, which was 22 years ago. And it was after raising my children in Jack and Jill. And then so many of the women that were in my chapter were AKAs. And I was like, well, I want to keep this going. And I was fortunate enough to be able to be invited to join. And it just feels I have a strong need for affiliation, but not all the time. And so AKA gives you the opportunity to be involved where you feel your strengths, your time, and your talents can be most used. So it fits me, and of course, the sisterhood and the ability to see people doing things that you perhaps haven't done, but because they do it, you say, well, maybe I can do that too. So it really has given me the opportunity to watch people soar to greatness and try to follow in their footsteps in some things. So no story, every silver lining has a cloud, right? um, what are some of the challenges that we face within Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, or some of the opportunities? Why don't we start with you, Dion? I'm sorry, Melissa, in terms of our chapter, what do you see in our future?
Oh, our future. I see growth. I see the opportunity to collaborate. I see what I appreciate is there are women who have transferred or moved to this area. And so I appreciate that when they're looking for different chapters, and well, really because they're in San Jose, what I appreciate about our chapter is how we're like a family. And so when you come to our chapter meetings, you feel that family feel. And that has made those women say to themselves, I want to join this chapter versus staying a general member. Because as we all know, some people have the opportunity again to membership is a lifetime commitment. That's the expectation. And so the beauty of Alpha Kappa Alpha is that you can be an active member as a general member and not affiliate with a chapter, but the beauty of affiliating with a chapter helps you build that connection and that bond as you work and serve. And so we have women that want to work and serve, and they've come to our chapter. And so what I'm looking forward to is watching those women take the initiatives that we're currently working on. We have a new president that will be coming in next year, as a matter of fact. And so we will have a new set of initiatives and goals to work towards to push out into our community. And I'm looking forward to watching those women take that information and turn it into something that's going to help the Santa Clara County to shine, and our African American students to shine and to be seen and to be helped for those that need that help. Those are the things that I'm looking for our future.
I appreciate that. I got a private chat that asked me to ask you to expand on the role of the debutante ball in today's society.
Oh. So for me, and I'm going to answer it for me. The debutante ball, what it did for me, because I know people think about debutante ball and they may think of it as you talked about society. So it might seem to be this high society type thing. And maybe in some areas it is. But what I appreciated about even the invitation, my family is a middle class family. My mother was a stay-at-home mother. My dad went to work. But the opportunity of participating in that ball gave me access and the opportunity to do things that I may not otherwise have gotten a chance to do. And so our debutante ball, to this day, in my mind, still does those things. It gives young women an opportunity to and experiences that they might not otherwise have the opportunity to do, because we give them workshops on branding, we gave them workshops on etiquette, we give them workshops on
Finance.
finance, right? And so, and then the connection that those young people make with one another because they spend so much time together. Community service, even though they individually do their own community service, doing a group community service project, coming together and working together and seeing each other, they build a bond that will stay with them for a lifetime. As a matter of fact, one of our current members, Erica Melson, I met her through participating in the debutante ball. And so now we're here serving Eta Rho Omega together. And so it's those things those bonds that tie us together. And that's what in the escorts, they get the fruits of that. Because they too participate in those workshops, they get those bonds, and then the kids they come together and they recognize that they're all on the same path. If they're not on the same path, they get ideas from each other. It's really an experience that warms my heart.
Yes.
Thank you. There's one other workshop that you didn't mention, and that's the etiquette workshop. And maybe you said it, but I'll say more.
Okay. Yeah.
Manners are timeless.
Yes.
And I don't care where we are in society and what we're doing and what time it is, being able to address people appropriately, being able to treat a young woman like a lady, and for a young woman to act like a lady in those situations where it is necessary I think it's a gift that we give those young people in that workshop. And
Yes.
manners don't go out of style.
Yeah. And if I could also add to it, we also develop young children. So we have what we call the prince and princesses as a part of the debutante ball. So first of all, they look up to the debutantes and escorts as role models, but they too have development workshops and they build their self-esteem by performing in the debutante ball. So it really is about developing our future leaders, which is something I'm passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
Can I also add, former debutante chair here. I can also add that given the pressure on our young kids today in our society in terms of social media and likes and things like that, I think it really also gives them a sense of belonging, self-esteem, and purpose as
Mhm.
well, at such a malleable age. And so I think that it is a tradition that we hold proudly, and really stand by and continue.
Mhm.
Yes.
Appreciate that. Maya, while you're speaking, can you talk a little bit about, you're not in Eta Rho Omega, you're in I don't have my glasses. Say your chapter name.
Yep, Delta Zeta Omega.
And tell us a little bit about some of your signature programs and some of the challenges that your chapter faces.
Absolutely. So we are located in San Francisco, California. So of course, like other areas in the Bay, we face similar challenges in terms of, supporting the community that is unhoused, food insecurity. And also in San Francisco, the, Black population has decreased tremendously. So really thinking about services that are specific to our local community. A few of the initiatives that we focus on, we have an annual holiday toy drive that we participate with the Black Firefighters Association. And so these toys are given to specifically Black and Brown children who, may not be able to celebrate the holiday in the traditional way that we experience it with, that don't have some challenges. And so that's one program. Another program that we do, excuse me, is the I'm blanking right now for some reason. But we have a number of different programs that are specifically cater specifically to the specific needs for women and girls. One that I'm thinking about that we actually do across different chapters in the Bay Area is the annual AK Breast Cancer Walk. So all of our chapters from around Northern California come together in San Francisco to really show our support and raise funds. We have exceeded our fundraising goal each year since we started it. And so, it's something that the community really looks forward to, and we do as well. In terms of some of the challenges, as I mentioned, really being in a high cost living area, dealing with all of kind of the challenges of being in a city and serving a city. We are the only chapter in San Francisco, so we do have a big challenge and a big directive as well.
I appreciate that. One of the questions that I'm going to ask you, but I will answer it first myself, is what are some of your passion projects that you're working on within your chapter? And by that I mean, of the things that we are tasked to do, what pulls at your heartstrings and leads you to really lead the charge on those things? So I have two, well, three, but I'll talk about two. Um, my older sister battled schizophrenia for her entire adult life until she died. So one of the things that I champion is our work with NAMI, which is the mental health organization, to shine a light on the need to guard your mental health. And if you do have mental health challenges, get help. And there are resources and people that are willing and able to help. So we bring NAMI into the San Jose Family Shelter, which is also one of my passion projects. They are an organization that houses families who are transitioning, hopefully, from the streets to a permanent place to live. So we partner with them throughout the year. We bring in the NAMI organization. We also do a toy drive for them at Christmas. And we just recently did a cold weather response. Well, we actually did we fully stocked the 32 units,
Yes.
everything that they need for the 32 units where they house families. So that was one of my proudest contributions to the organization. So those are my two passion projects. Melissa, do you have any that I know you're responsible for everything, but do you have any
Say I
that
love them all. Um, I will say I will go back to, of course, Deb Ball will always be my heart. My other passion project, I'm gonna say three things. My other passion project would be the baccalaureate. And the reason why I love the baccalaureate is because I feel like the kids that we celebrate don't even recognize that they need that celebration until they're there in the program. And what I appreciate about that program is it truly is, yes, we're giving scholarships, and yes, there, but the kids that don't expect money, and we reward them. The kids that don't expect to be acknowledged, we acknowledge them. And the kids that want to participate, if they have a talent, this is a program that's truly a celebration of our children. And so that's why I love it so much. I love to see the kids come and perform or read their poem, whatever it is they want to do. All they have to do is say, I have a talent that I'd like to share, and they're immediately on the program. And then the other thing that I like about what we do, I like our I don't want to call them one and dones, but giving to the family shelter is a one and done for me. It was something that we can get together. We collected, we did, and then being able to, we do it with the African American Service Agency. We support their backpack programs. They have been, when I say one and done, it's not like it's a partnership and a collaboration where we come together. And so I appreciate those programs because it allows us to get in there, do what they need us to do, and then we get to go out. And those are my passion projects.
Dion, what are yours?
So mine are in two categories. One is developing our youth because they are our future leaders, and the other is fundraising because I just do sales and marketing. So for developing our youth, we had an initiative, for example, called the Youth Leadership Institute. So I chaired that where we were bringing middle school children together and giving them some workshops to build up their self-esteem and their leadership capabilities. I've chaired the debutante ball once and co-chaired it twice. So that's another passion of mine too, because again, that is helping to develop our children. I've chaired the scholarship committee because again, that's giving back to our youth and helping to propel them into the future. And then for fundraising, we have what we call the Kentucky Derby Day, May 3rd. Everyone mark your calendars. And that's one of our major fundraisers because you need money in order to provide these programs and services. The Debutante Ball is also a fundraiser. So I'd say those are my passions.
Thank you. I just want to
Tina,
amplify that. Yes, yes.
can I add another passion project?
You may.
The undergrads. I love Zeta Psi chapter. Those young women are on fire, and I love empowering them. And they ask questions, they want the tools. They are my passion project too. And I just had to call that out. Okay. Thank
I
you.
appreciate that. Before I move
It's
to
always my passion
Maya,
project.
of course, be full circle, right? Before I move to Maya, I just want to amplify something that you said about the programs not being free, that we need to raise funds for them. There are
Yes.
two programs that we do that are free to the community, and it is the baccalaureate, and it is the Pink Goes Red, which is the Transforming Women's Health. And so those are extremely well received programs in the community, and they are a lot of moving parts and really require a lot of management and time by the sorority members. And so when you say fundraising, it is those kinds of programs that we raise funds for so that we can turn around and offer them to the
Yes.
community for free.
Exactly.
So, yes.
And then, Tina, what I want to add is um, that fundraising that we do is done under our foundation, the Ivy Rose Community Foundation. And so, as a chapter, Eta Rho Omega, we created our own foundation so that we have the opportunity and the flexibility to fundraise and utilize the dollars for the programs in the way we want it. And it also opened us up to the opportunity to have more collaborations with other organizations and groups by doing so. And so that was one of the key things that Eta Rho Omega did in order to be a bigger influence in the Santa Clara County area.
Maya, what are your 2 or 3 passion projects?
I would say I have two, similar to along the lines. I think we all, love our undergrads or our younger sisters in terms of their leadership development. We have a specific international committee within the organization called Generation Next. That focuses specifically on our emerging leaders and our upcoming leaders in the organization, and offering them, special leadership development opportunities, or really focusing on them. I know you all probably feel the same about this in navigating just, corporate structures, life in general. You oftentimes wish, you had somebody who could tell you how to do it, or who could help you navigate in that way. And I think that's one of the beautiful things that our sorority provides, is that because it is so intergenerational, somebody has experienced the thing that you have experienced in life or you're going through right now, right? So you can tap in and plug in into all these different things. And so for me, it's very much supporting, our emerging leaders. In Delta Zeta Omega alone, over 71% of our executive board and leaders in the chapter are under 40. So they are active, they are ready to work, they are engaged. And I love to be able to help them navigate, help them grow. Oftentimes in Alpha Kappa Alpha, one of the beautiful things is that you can really expand your leadership capacity, and, fail forward sometimes, try different things. And you always have that support and grace, of that sisterhood. Mind you, they will tell you when you are wrong. Let's be clear, right? You will definitely learn better for the next time, but you learn, right? And that is something that I just find sorority sister prepare for a big presentation at work, or even an interview or whatever it is that they are trying to reach the next level of. That is one thing that brings me so much joy within the organization. And then the other thing would really fall under our empower our families. As I mentioned, we have across the Bay Area, but specifically in San Francisco, a very, very large unhoused population, and epidemic. And one of the things we try to do is really focus our programming and connect with different organizations that are targeting, this population. So St. Anthony's Foundation, we just did a sock drive with them. We work with the SF Homeless Parental Program to provide diapers and, necessities for new moms, and things like that. And so just to be able to provide for those folks that, it could be us tomorrow. I think is something that always is top of mind for me, and want to continue to push forward in those areas.
A couple years ago, maybe more, I was driving in Oakland, and I got sort of lost, because I get lost everywhere I'm going, even though I have GPS. But um, I went down the street and there were tents, and I saw a young girl come out of the tent, put on her backpack, heading to school. It literally broke my heart, and it was then that I realized that there are homeless students. I don't know why it never occurred to me before, but it occurred to me. It showed it was right before me. So one of the things that I have personally started to do, and the great thing is that I have a sorority sister who is a principal, a teacher, who also under her own wing has taken the homeless students in her school. And so we have the opportunity to donate directly to her personally, not not as a program, not as anything, but, my children pull together things that they no longer need or want or whatever. Some of them still with tags, brand new with tags. And I'm able to give them to a teacher who I know, who then is able to give them to students. And she's able to give me the feedback that says how delighted they were to get those items. And to me, that's a full circle experience. It really is. So I share your passion for that because it's just a problem, in my opinion, that shouldn't exist, but it does. So, well, I think we're almost at the. Okay, so okay, so I got something else, and we all got it. Is it possible for us to shout out some of the most well-known members of our sorority? Anybody?
Kamala Harris.
There we go, number one. Well, since we are doing this with the Livermore Library, we have a few authors that are distinguished members. Maya Angelou, Toni Morrison, Alice Walker. Also,
Rosa Parks.
right. Anybody seen Wicked? Cynthia
Yes.
Erivo.
Right? Don't forget Felicia Rashad.
The list goes
Wow.
on.
Look,
Yes.
the thing.
Alicia Keys.
Alicia Keys, Coretta Scott
Yeah.
King.
Prescott King. Eleanor Roosevelt. First Lady
Yes.
Eleanor Roosevelt.
Yes.
We could go on.
All trailblazers in their own right.
I was
That's
gonna say,
right.
oh, you know who I thought about? So I was watching, look, I've been watching The View. Look, Sonny Hostin, Star
Yeah.
Jones,
Our Dove, yeah.
Hall.
Vanessa Bell Calloway. Look,
Robin
Yeah.
Roberts.
you're right.
Yeah.
The list
Oh,
is long.
Tamara Hall. Remember Tamara
Yeah.
Hall just became,
Yeah.
yes,
The list
indeed.
is long. The list is long. So one final roundup. Was there anything that you wanted to say that you didn't get a chance to say, Melissa?
Think so. But look, come back to me. Let me think about
Okay.
it.
Okay. Maya.
Nothing that I didn't get a chance to say. I'm just really grateful for the opportunity for us to share more about our illustrious organization and the work that we do, because really we do this for the community. And we serve at the pleasure of our community. And so we're here to work in partnership with you and to support, the initiatives that matter most to you. So really appreciative of the Livermore Library and Tina for this opportunity to share more.
Thank you. Dion.
And I would say for more information, visit our website or our Facebook page. You can find us on social media. You can go to ivyrosecommunityfoundation.org if you want to see what programs we have or donate to the cause, and keep in touch with us.
Thank you. Melissa?
So I guess I would echo with really both. I want to use that word. Dion and Maya said, um, just Alpha Kappa Alpha was founded to provide service to all mankind. And we do that under the bonds of sisterhood. And so this sisterhood means a lot to me. I know it means a lot to you all. And so I too thank you, Tina, for asking us to come and share, what it is we do and how we do it and why we do it. Because we do it for the community, but we do it for all mankind. And because it's what brings us joy. It's our superpower.
Yeah, yes. And Tina, I just saw in the chat someone mentioned that, yes, we are all going to Oakland next week for the regional conference.
Yes, we
So
are.
we'll be there.
Look for the women in pink and green. We will be there in numbers.
You know, um, I just want to sort of reiterate what I can't remember who said it. We have someone in our midst who started at San Jose State worked her way up through the organization to become
Yes.
the regional director. I mean, that is amazing to have though, and I want to say her name because you always say the name, Carol Dixon. It's like to have those young women at Zeta Psi on San Jose State's campus see this can be done. And that to me is one of the real reasons to be part of Alpha Kappa Alpha is to see all the things that you can be and things that can be done.
Yes.
So, Paul,
Hi.
hi, I will turn it back to you.
Yes, yes.
And if there are
Yeah,
questions,
if there are any questions, type them up in the chat. And I do have a question. How can a young woman become a member of AKA? And what is the joining process?
So to join, if you're an undergraduate, at the end of the day, I shouldn't say that. To join as an undergraduate, you go to the campus. They have what they call a rush, and you participate and you submit your paperwork. There's a certain criteria that you have to meet, and um, if met, you can probably join if you meet the criteria. To join as a graduate, you have to be invited. It's important to be community oriented, like-minded. And when the women know you, and then they want to embrace you and they will invite you and bring you in.
And that information is available on aka1908.com. So there's a section on membership. So anyone can go there to find out what the criteria and process is.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Are there any other? Yeah, let's see. There's a comment here from Robert. I really enjoyed listening to you and these wonderful ladies. Thank you. Thank you, Robert.
full disclosure, that's my brother.
Ah. Ooh, if any questions or comments, yeah, just type in the chat. And so, how can let's see, how can people like follow AKA, or if they want to, if they're not a member but they want to attend an event uh, put together by like one of your fundraisers, for instance? Yeah,
But
how
look,
can?
all they have
Yeah.
to do is, even for Maya's chapter, follow our social medias, Facebook, Instagram. Dion gave our foundation website that hosts our events and gives that information. And so we definitely are always out there publicizing and communicating what it is we're doing and when. And you just follow us on socials. Or the face, or look, or just go to our website. There, I met a young woman who's actually interested, and she says, I have no social media. And I said, you have access to a laptop? She says, yes. I said, go to our website. All the information is there, and just check back periodically. And then we reach out as well to let people know when we're doing things, so that if they're interested in coming, they're invited to do so.
Okay. We do have one question. I know you probably mentioned this at the beginning, but how long have you all been involved in the in AKA?
Well, if you added it up, it would be close to 200 years. I personally, 22 years.
On May 1st, I will have 38 years.
I think I'm hitting 28 in April, 28 or 29.
You got to think about it after a certain point. I just
Once I became a silver star, once I hit
there
that
you
25,
go.
it was like
There
until
you
I get
go.
to 50, I'm just
I just celebrated 15. And as Melissa was just mentioning, and we mentioned earlier, these milestones have great significance in the organization because, as we mentioned, we do advocate for, and the expectation is lifelong membership. So we celebrate those members and revere those members who have been in the organization for 25 years, 50 years, 65, 75. Imagine being in an organization for 75 plus years and the
Yeah,
impact you have had and the people that you have touched.
yeah.
We really, really honor that level of commitment.
We have a member in our chapter who has been in the chapter for not the chapter, but the organization for 65 years.
Mhm.
It is just amazing to me. I keep telling them by the time I reach 50, I'll be dead, but I still expect them to honor me on that day. So, because I'll have to be 100 in order to hit 50 years.
So we
We
will
will make sure it happens.
Right.
I'm holding you to it. Wear your uninterrupted white.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Well,
I'm counting that journey to 50. So I have what, 12 years to go.
wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, that is amazing. Do we have members in our chapter who have been in the chapter 50 years?
I think, look, would Cheryl count? Because she makes 60. Um,
I think she has been in there for almost 50 years.
yeah, maybe. Well, she makes 60 this year, I think she said.
Mhm.
So
So probably
maybe I was gonna say because Yvonne Aronowitz is turning Pearl, so she's our 65, right? So she's been in Eta Rho. Um, outside of her 4 years, right? I think it would be,
pretty close.
yeah,
Pretty
Yeah.
close. That's amazing to me.
it is amazing.
Yes.
Well, Paul, if there are no more questions, I would like to once again thank you for inviting us this evening. It has been our pleasure to be a guest of the Livermore Library.
The pleasure was all ours. And thank you so much for thank you to Diane Morgan, Maya Mosley, Melissa Hawkins, and of course Tina for making this event possible. Such an uplifting program, and the work that you all do, that AKA does, is what the world needs, what the country needs, what the world needs. And I just wish you more power to you all, and yeah, keep soaring to greater heights. Right?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Have a lovely evening.
You
You
too.
too.
Thank you. You
And
too.
thank you again.